Thanks for checking out the Superdog Comic Blog. My name's Kev, and after months of setup and teasers, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's multiverse-upending DC Comics event, Dark Knight's Metal, has finally arrived. But how does the first issue follow through with its two-part prologue? Let's take a spoiler-filled look at Dark Knight's Metal #1. We start on Mongul's new war world, where the Justice League is forced to fight robotic counterparts without their powers. The last time we saw Mongul in his war world, they had been punched into space and blown up respectively, so how he was able to build an artificial planet so quickly is really beyond me. Despite their disadvantage, Batman figures out that the Toyman, occasional supervillain and master engineer, is being forced to build gadgets for the arena against his will, but had snuck the League a secret exit anyway. Batman hits a button in the mouth of one of the robots and tells the League to do the same, causing them to be swallowed up and given direct control of one badass looking Justice League Megazord. Also, we finally get a booyah from Cyborg, which already makes this the best event since Blackest Night. The gang hustles down to Gotham City only to find a giant mountain where downtown used to be. Superman spots a bunker inside, and the Flash quickly locates an entrance with an hourglass symbol painted onto it. This is, by the way, the same mountain used by the Hawks to study the Dark Multiverse and had vanished during Dark Days the casting. After a look around, the League spots a red tornado android as well as the Challengers of the Unknown frozen in cryosleep, next to an ominous message written in blood. But suddenly, Lady Blackhawk, the leader of the covert Blackhawk Squadron, appears to them and reveals herself as Kendra Saunders, a version of Hawkwoman best known for her role in the Flash TV show. She promises to tell them everything she knows about what's going on back at her base on Black Hawk Island, where we get to the real meat and potatoes of the issue. Once they get there, Kendra recaps her origin story and pulls out a pure shard of nth metal, describing how Hawkman had given his life in the pursuit of understanding its mysterious properties. She also describes how the metal broadcasts a strange energy signature which Green Lantern had sensed in the Batcave and that Cyborg is feeling right now. Kendra lays out the map from Grant Morrison's Multiversity and then flips it over to its dark side. Since the energy signature they're looking for can't be traced to any of the known 52 universes or divine planes like Hell, New Genesis, or the Dreamlands, it must be coming from some vast realm well beyond the multiverse. And if you thought that seeing the Multiversity map was crazy, we learned that the weirdest places in the DC universe like Themyscira, Skartaris, and even Black Hawk Island itself are basically mini pocket dimensions powered by dark energy that stay hidden from the rest of the world. Finally, Kendra recounts an ancient legend predicting that a son from the House of Wayne would be the one to bring forth Barbados, the Lovecraftian entity behind this whole mess. Kendra's convinced enough that she turns the Blackhawk's guns on Batman, saying how she had given up her identity as Hawkwoman to end the threat of nth metal by any means necessary. She's interrupted by Red Tornado, who breaks out of his containment pod and flips out over Batman's presence. I guess he's had some hands-on experience with the Dark Multiverse. Speaking of Batman, he's managed to slip away with the nth metal shard from earlier and is riding a raptor to safety. Pretty metal! In a brief splash page, we see a few characters with metal-based gimmicks, specifically Dr. Fate, Steel, and Plastic Man, all receiving visions of the Dark Knights, Barbados' lieutenants, and cracked mirror mashups of Batman and the Justice League. Meanwhile, in the Batcave, Bruce's research into the nth metal shard is interrupted by a strange humming coming from upstairs in the mansion. Bruce traces the sound to a glowing compartment in the study, highlighted in, you guessed it, metal. He pries open the bat-shaped panel to find Hawkman's private journal that had been left to Thomas Wayne years ago. It details Hawkman's research into the Dark Multiverse, but more importantly how the journal would only reveal itself if there was no hope left of stopping the invasion. A pale figure draped in robes shapes itself from the darkness of Wayne Manor and introduces itself to Bruce as Dream of the Endless. With a gleam in his eye, he tells Bruce that the nightmare he's at the center of has only just begun. My God, where do I even start with this 10-layer lasagna of a comic? As always, we're treated to some rich and detailed line work from Greg Capullo, and Scott Snyder manages to write a better Justice League than we're getting in the actual Justice League book right now. But even though Snyder is decent on scripting so far, the biggest asset and roadblock when it comes to Dark Knight's Metal #1 is the lofty amount of concepts and exposition that get casually referenced here and there. Like if I had just started reading DC with Rebirth, chances are I haven't gotten around to reading Multiversity or The Sandman or Final Crisis, even though everyone's probably telling me I should by now. The significance of most of this issue would just fly right over my head. Now don't get me wrong, I'm what you'd call a continuity crackhead, which reminds me I still need to fill out the paperwork for what I did to my neighbor's yard after the Multiversity map popped up. But still, I'd be hesitant to recommend this to a casual reader. Anyway, as far as my personal taste towards DC Comics goes, Dark Knight's Metal #1 hit all of the sweet spots for me, and I can't say I've been this excited for an event in a really, really long time. So, what did you think of Dark Knight's Metal #1? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you'd like to be a part of this channel as it continues to grow. Thanks for checking out the Superdog comic blog, and I'll see you next time.